Synergy. This is for Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest. Okay. What's cracking with you people?
We are back.
Nancy and Exner, and we just got done watching Pirates of the Caribbean 2: Dead Man's Chest. And I'm gonna say it right now. Great escalation of conflict. This is honestly a well-crafted movie. I know we say that about a lot of movies we've watched,
But this one doesn't.
but this one, I think it bears emphasis that this is a sequel done right.
Yeah.
So many times a sequel will come out and they feel the need to overblow or over-exaggerate the world or a conflict or or something new, and it feels out of place. With this one, they doubled down on Mariner folklore mythology, and they mix and match and intersperse certain elements to then push the story forward. They don't jump the shark as easy as it is to do inside a movie about a bunch of sailors.
Yeah.
They don't jump the shark, and they keep it very grounded. And most importantly, every main character, every character who is important to the story, even is like, you have your main, your protagonist,
Yes.
your deuteragonist, and your tertiary protagonist.
Yeah.
Every single one of them has something to gain in this story. They have a vested interest in the events, even if they don't want the main end game, the main MacGuffin of the story.
Yeah.
They still have a reason to want something in the story.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Well then, because you have the four main people. You have Jack Sparrow, you have William Turner, you have Elizabeth, and then it's just like originally, you have Will about to be arrested along with Elizabeth Swann, and then he makes a deal with the East Indian Trading Company. And they tell you know what, just bring me a compass and Jack will be free, and then you be released from all your crimes. But the thing is, even on top of that, Jack has something to lose too, because now he has the spot.
Yeah.
With Davy Jones.
So the plot of the movie is that basically, those of you who don't remember the release trailers for this movie in Canada, those of you who weren't born at the time, the plot of this movie is that Davy Jones has come to collect a debt that Jack owes to him. And the debt is basically 100 years of service aboard Davy Jones' ship, the Flying Dutchman, in exchange for 13 years as captain of the Black Pearl. Because what we find out in this movie is that on top of literally on top of anything, they actually kind of introduced this plot point for this movie, but we find out that Black Pearl was originally a sunken ship that Jack cut a deal with Davy Jones to raise.
Yeah.
And the deal Davy Jones made is, okay, you get 13 years. After that, your soul is mine.
Yeah.
And we find out that in the 10 years of him not being captain of the ship in the previous Pirates, that counted towards his 13 years.
Yeah, which is really messed up.
But it does make sense.
No,
As far as Davy
yeah.
Jones is concerned, I raised this ship as long as the ship is floating for 13 years. Your soul is mine.
Exactly.
And he even pulled a 180 on Jack, where he goes, "Did you not introduce yourself all these years as Captain Jack Sparrow?" And at that moment, Jack's like, "I should get my mouth shut on that one, shouldn't I?" He literally did it to himself. But yeah, no. So now the plot of this movie, and once again, the movie opens up with it's supposed to be Will and Elizabeth's wedding day, but now we have these army of British soldiers coming in.
Yeah.
They clamp Will in chains, and then they clamp Elizabeth in chains due to Cutler Beckley. This guy's a bastard, but we'll get to him in the sequel movie.
Yeah.
Right now,
Oh my
he
God.
is an antagonist, but he's not prevalent enough in the story that he's a main focus. But he is a background warrior.
Yeah. Yes, he is. Yes.
But he gets Will and he gets Elizabeth, and he has a warrant for Norrington as well, who shows up later inside the film.
Yep.
And it's for the arrest for basically aiding and abetting the escape of Jack Sparrow, with the penalty of that crime
Which is also
death. So Will cuts a deal with Beckett, which I think is what Beckett wanted.
Yeah, of course.
I think Beckett wanted him to cut a deal, and the deal was, you bring me that compass, and or Jack Sparrow. I don't think Jack Sparrow was part of the deal. It's just he wanted the compass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He just has the letters in case Jack wants to cut a deal with him.
Yeah, but either way, even either way, he knew that Will was gonna take it because again, he loved Elizabeth that much that he's willing to do anything for her. So
Yeah.
so he already knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah. So as far as Beck's concerned, you bring me that compass, both you and your future bride to be go free, and that's it. You don't see me again. So Will agrees, lets Elizabeth know, but Elizabeth's father does not trust Jack to keep his word.
Yeah, of course.
Or not keep his word, but he does not trust Jack to stick his neck out
Yeah.
for them the way they stuck their neck out for him.
And honestly, like for me, I can respect that. I get that. But I'm just seeing just the outskirts of it, and then you have no choice.
Dramatic irony. Yeah.
You have no choice.
You have to make this deal.
There's nothing that y'all can do to get out of the situation.
And before you guys, before you can even think of like, well, why doesn't he use his pull with the British Crown as governor to do anything? He does that after Will leaves to get Elizabeth out of prison. But Beckett's right-hand man, that stabby bastard, intercepts the letter and kills the captain that ferries Elizabeth to safety.
I can't stand him. Like they was so close.
They were so close, and there he was.
Yeah, and then what I also like is right after that scene happens, man. Is it the governor again? I can't remember. What's his role again? The governor? Is it the governor?
Elizabeth Fowler?
No.
Or Beckett?
No, Beckett. Yeah, Beckett.
He's the head of East Administration.
Okay,
He's not the governor. He just declared martial law over the city, and then once Governor Swan broke the law, he basically clapped him in chains, but he still was governor.
Okay.
Beckett wasn't governor yet.
Gotcha. Yeah. So Beckett.
But we get to that later. That's an instance a little bit later.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So once again, so basically, Will's going to try to find Jack. We find him on an island full of cannibals, which probably one of the funniest moments in the movie.
I love that scene.
It's one of the few times where it's like they do something to basically jump. It's a jump the shark moment where they have him basically pole vault with a bamboo stick on his back.
Yes.
And it is overly goofy, but I'll let it slide
Yeah.
because it's the only moment in the movie that does it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'll let this one slide.
Yeah, and the reason for me for the pole one, for my personal opinion, why it didn't bother me because of Jack's character.
Yeah.
It would have been out of place if it was William Turner.
Yeah.
That would have been like, oh no, I can't do that. That's over the top. But since it's Jack Sparrow, I'm okay with it.
And I can respect that decision, that opinion anyway.
Yeah.
It's just that for me personally, when I think of Jack Sparrow, I think of him using more ropes, netting, that kind of thing. When he uses this thing, it's more of a practical. Yeah, it's over the top, sure.
Yeah.
But is it a practical kind of like he's very hands-on?
Yeah.
He's using it in a way that does make sense. This one is just he runs at a wall, hits it. And because he has the weight or momentum to run, he can like flex and flip. I'm like, that's not how this works. But because this only happens once in the movie, I'm willing to suspend my disbelief and let it happen.
Yes.
So that's why I don't get mad at it so much. But there are later movies, not even just with Disney, but just in Hollywood in general, they have these over-the-top goofy moments that happen so often.
Oh yeah.
That I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not suspending my disbelief for this.
Oh,
it takes you out the experience altogether.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, but yeah, getting back to it, it's like Island Cannibals. We see the two pirate goofballs from the previous.
Oh
movie,
my God, those two, man.
Someone got the dog with them, which that dog is the Oscar.
I love that dog.
I hope that dog got an Oscar. I really do.
Yeah, I do too, man.
But yeah, no, they
Yeah, they're in the boat. Yeah. See, originally in the first one, they all got captured. Some of the pirates that had been with Barbossa from the first one got set in prison and everything. Then those two goofballs escaped with the dog. And then instead of having a seriously funny conversation, and one of them is literally trying to read the Bible.
Yep.
And I just love how this is about reading the Bible is a lie. That's the mark against.
I think the exact wording was, it's the Bible. I get credit for trying. It's like,
oh yeah.
It's like try. Like Fake you reading the Bible is a lie, and there's a mark against you know who. And the whole thing is just hilarious. But yeah, they end up getting off the island, and Will strikes his deal. So at this point right now, all Will wants is the compass.
Yeah.
And we're going to circle. I want to circle back around to what everybody wants inside this movie. So right now, all Will wants is the compass, and Jack basically says, "Okay, I will give you my compass." Because at this point, the compass doesn't work for Jack.
Yeah.
And we don't find out until later on in the movie why it doesn't work for him.
Yes.
But Will just wants the compass. He doesn't know why Beckett wants the compass. Will wants the compass in exchange for Elizabeth's freedom. And Jack goes, "I will give you the compass if you bring me this, a key." And Will agrees to that. So right now, all Will wants is the key to get the compass. Jack wants the key to get the chest of Davy Jones. Beckett wants that compass to get the chest of Davy Jones, the dead man's chest. So right now we have two people after Davy Jones's chest.
Yes.
Because in the chest is the beating heart of Davy Jones. Like, he's still beating heart of Davy Jones.
Yeah.
They meant that shit, literally.
No, no, for real. It is literally beating in the chest.
But, and after that, several things happen. Elizabeth ends up escaping the grass.
Yeah.
And she ends up sailing away. And she ends up bumping into Jack after Jack sends Will over to basically to settle his debt with Davy Jones,
yes.
which we'll get back to that one in a second here. And she finds Jack. Jack says, "So I think what you want, because Will has been captured, you want to find a way to save Will by finding the heart of Davy Jones." So now Elizabeth wants the chest of Davy Jones to get Will back. Will, while he's on the Flying Dutchman, he bumps into his father, and now after a gamble goes wrong, once again we'll get that in a second. Now he wants to save his dad, and the way he can save his dad is by getting the chest of Davy Jones. We bump into Commodore Norrington again, and he overhears about the letters of marque that can give him full pardon to get his life back. Now he wants the chest of Davy Jones.
That's 5 people so far.
That's 5 people so far. Now, after Will has a close encounter with Davy Jones's Kraken, once again, get that in a second, now Davy Jones wants his chest. So now we have basically a packed story where everybody in it who has an active participant in the role wants the chest of Davy Jones, barring Elizabeth's father, who just wants Elizabeth safe. So he makes a deal with Beckett to give Beckett full governorship, all of his contacts in England, and complete loyalty to the East India Trading Company in exchange for Elizabeth's safety. So now, as far as Governor Swan's concerned, he's got what he wanted. He has nothing else. He dips out the story.
Yeah.
Will shows up at the island after Jack, Norrington, and Elizabeth find the island where Davy Jones' heart is buried. And now Elizabeth's out the story because all she wanted was Will safe. Damn the chest at this point. So now it's literally just Davy Jones, Jack, Norrington, and Will.
Yeah, that's it.
And we're going, and this is what I want to mean, where it's like everybody has something they want to get, even if it is not the main thing. Because once again, I want to point out, at the start of the film, the only 2 people who want Davy Jones's chest is Cutler, Beckett, and Jack.
That's it.
But as this film goes on, more and more people want this chest, and this is what I mean by how you do a good, well done sequel with perfect stakes.
Yeah.
You don't have to ramp up where it's like, okay, the world's going to be at the end, or someone's going to die.
Yeah,
All it is that people have things they want invested in, and this one thing can solve all their problems.
But see, that to me, what you just mentioned as far as like the world ending and everything, that's getting old.
It is.
It's really getting old to the point like, man, re-seeing this movie is way better than most movies I've seen.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you said, it's the same old generic thing. Oh, the world's gonna end. Oh, you know what? This kid can save the world.
Yeah.
I'm tired of that.
This is literally the epitome of piracy. Everybody's being a selfish jackass.
It is. No, I'm telling you, like you said, everybody has their own intentions. Everybody has their own agenda. So I'm telling you, at the end of the day, realistically, everybody's out for their own self. That's it.
Remember, Curse of the Black Pearl was basically about trying to lift the curse of Cortez.
Yeah.
Now, inside that movie, we really only had we had four main characters. Barbossa, Elizabeth, Jack, and Will.
Yeah.
All Jack wanted was to kill Barbossa and get the ship back.
Yeah. And
Will wants to keep Elizabeth safe.
And that's it.
Elizabeth Army, the only thing she really wanted was to keep Will safe,
Yeah, that's it, man.
and that backfired horribly.
Yeah.
Barbosa just wants to lift the curse. So these four people, of all of them, really only two of them have something in common. The other ones don't. Even then, you can argue that each one has separate goals.
Yeah.
This one is separate goals that converge onto one item. You know, as far as Jack's concerned, fuck the gold in the first movie. He just wants Barbosa dead. As far as Will's concerned, fuck the gold. He just wants Elizabeth safe.
Yeah.
As far as Elizabeth's concerned, fuck the gold. She wants to keep Will protected. As far as Barbosa's gold, fuck this gold. I've been cursed for 10 years.
Exactly. It's just like as the story progressed, the second one, it's just really written well. I'm really impressed with that. Seeing it for like the ninth time already. It's just I'm still impressed with it. And the visuals, oh my god.
Oh god, yeah. I remember when this movie came out, I was shocked that the trailer said parental advisory.
Yeah, it did. I remember that.
And I caught this movie in theaters. So imagine my surprise when before we see Jack Sparrow, we see a dude's eye get plucked out by a raven.
Yeah, that made me screaming and uncomfortable in the theater when I first watched that movie. I was like, oh my god.
And I don't mean it's implied. I don't mean they cut past it. What I
No,
mean
they
is
show it.
they show. And granted, it's a very, very like quick scene, like probably less than a second long.
But even then,
But you see the eyeball get plucked out this dude's eye by a raven.
yeah, and it's just, oh my god, it's so uncomfortable and squeamish. I'm like, oh my god, that is too much. That, and then there were moments they even show like Davy Jones' crew killing people and slitting their throats.
Blood spraying and everything too.
Yeah, and then the visuals that I really like the most is on the Kraken.
Oh yeah.
I love it. It's just that creature is so savage,
Yes.
and it's just it doesn't care. Like if Davy Jones commanded that Kraken to do whatever he wants, it will do its job and go by its business.
And they use the Kraken very sparingly in some movies.
Yeah.
It would have been so easy to have. It's like anytime the Flying Dutchman shows up, here's the Kraken.
Yeah.
No, there's a
No.
they established on the Dutchman, even though Jones has control of this thing.
Yeah,
there's a whole thing that goes into waking this damn thing up.
Yeah, it is. It is a whole process, and we're not even kidding. It's a whole process. It literally takes me about 5 minutes just to wake that creature up. I'm like, good God,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Not to mention when Jones is waking the Kraken 9 times out of 10, he's not looking for survivors.
No, of course not.
Because one thing to mention about Jones at this movie is he's actually not a villain. Like, I know it's a weird thing to say,
Yeah,
but he's not a villain.
Yeah,
He's just doing his job. It's just that he takes a sick
Yeah.
pleasure in doing it.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, it's a sick pleasure when he's doing. He's really enjoying that.
Yeah.
And it's really fucked up how he's doing it. But I see what you mean, though. But I see what you mean. It is his job.
Yeah.
As fucked up as that sounds, that is true, though. I never thought about it that way. It makes sense, though.
So for those of you who are wondering what I'm saying is here, the only villain in this movie is Beckett. And he's only in it for maybe 10 minutes.
Yes.
Maybe all of 10 minutes, maybe 15.
Yeah.
And he's only villain because he very clearly has a nefarious purpose, a nefarious agenda, and if he achieves it, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
With Davy Jones, all he's doing is collecting lost souls who are either on the brink of dying or have died at sea. That's his job. That's what he's charged with, as we find out from new character Tia Dalma, which, by the way, the actress, only actress in this series who I legitimately believe can steal the spotlight from Johnny Depp.
Oh, yes.
Legitimately speaking. But once again, we find out from her that his job is to ferry the souls of the lost who lost at sea back and forth to the afterworld, and once every 10 years he can step foot on land. And he does his job.
Yeah.
He does his job. It's just that because he ripped his heart out, because we find out, that he did it because he fell in love with a woman as cruel and harsh and changing as the sea. He ripped out his heart because he couldn't stand the fact that he fell in love with someone who wasn't there. The day, like 10 years passed, he did his job diligently. 10 years passed, he comes to the spot where he comes back to meet her. She's not there.
She, let me just say, in my perspective, hearing that, there's two things I can see with her. She is playing him like a fiddle. She just she tells him things
Yeah.
that he wants to hear, and then uses him every single time. But but I just can't get over the fact that that's really his job.
Yeah.
That's really all he's doing is his job.
So once again, if Davy Jones wins, the worst thing that legitimately happens in terms of the Pirates universe is that Jack Sparrow is serving on his ship for 100 years.
Yeah, that's it. But
Davy Jones is not going on a rampage killing people.
no.
He's not going out of his way to cause havoc on the seas. He's literally people are there dying. Okay, I give him a choice. You either let me ferry you to the afterlife, or you postpone it and serve on my ship for 100 years.
Yeah.
It's literally it. He's not a villain. He's just for lack of a better term, he's just a dickhead.
Yeah, exactly. And I just can't. I just can't believe like that connection never
Yeah.
really hit me like, until just now.
Yeah, that's why I admire this movie, because we technically don't have a villain
No, except Beckett.
except for Beckett, and once again, he's not in the movie that much.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by every character here is a personal matter.
Yeah.
By the end of the movie, we are setting up for the next movie, which basically is like, okay, now the world's in danger. That's how the movie ends, because we ends with Beckett ultimately getting the heart of Davy Jones.
Yeah.
And that sets up, and we learned earlier in the movie that from Jack and from Gibbs, that if Beckett gets the heart, the whole world is screwed.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of
And Norrington delivered it to him on a platter.
course. Yeah.
Now, granted, we get where Norrington's coming from, because Norrington's not a villain here either.
No,
he
no.
actually is serving on Jack's crew after a certain point in the film.
Yeah.
But he's only given the heart because he wants his life back.
Yeah, and which I understand and respect that, but at the same time, from my perspective, I just don't see him being like back in his old ways. I really see him being more of a pirate now, more than just for the East Indian Trade Company. For me, personally.
And I love how, and in case you're wondering if I'm reading into this too much, the comic relief literally spells it out.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
literally in the scene where Jack, Will, and Norrington are fighting over the heart of Davy Jones.
Oh, Lord
the
have
two
mercy.
comic relief pirates, literally, the one who's supposed to be the dumbest one, legitimately just spells out the whole damn thing.
Yeah, man, no.
And it is hilarious,
Yeah.
well written, and I love it.
Yeah, like guys, I'm telling you, like even before that scene happened, like in case you don't understand it, the guy, like he said, the guy, one of the dumb pirates, goofy pirates, literally explains it out very well.
And it takes all of 2 minutes.
It's 2 minutes, just 2 minutes. Like literally, like the three guys are fighting, are sit in the corner from a distance, fighting, while the other guys asking like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And his buddy just for 2 minutes explains everything. I'm like, that's how you do it.
And the best part is, the story doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't.
It
stop.
doesn't even pause.
It's a-
Because while they're explaining it, they're still having a story in the background.
It's literally like, it's almost like a story within a story.
Yeah,
But both stories still connect.
yeah.
And it makes sense. I'm just like, yo, the fact that these guys are fighting in the distance, and you have two goofballs who are trying to figure out what's going on, and one is explaining the situation within the fight.
And then at the same time, once again, that 2 minute scene ends with them now wanting the chest because they figured, I guess that chest would be worth a lot of money. Would we be upstanding gentlemen to remove that temptation from them?
I was like, really, really.
And it's like, and you want to be mad, but you really can't.
You really can't be mad at that though, because like in a way, like he ain't lying though, because again, the chest is technically temptation.
It's the problem. It's the problem of the film.
So if you remove it, yeah, everything will go good.
Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly, yeah. And then you got Elizabeth Swann who's sitting there irritated because all three men are fighting like over the same issue. And she's just like, I'm done. I'm sick and tired of pirates. And she's sitting there pouting, and she sees the two goofballs running away with the chest. She's like, oh, well, I need to take care of that. It's none of my business.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, it gets more crazier and crazier after that.
And it just, look, very, very in the lead here.
Yeah.
Watch this film.
Yes,
If
please
you
watch it.
haven't, watch it again.
That's
if you have Disney Plus, watch it. It's well worth the watch.
It's the best Pirates movie. And I'm not just saying that. I've seen all of them. All of them.
I've only seen the first 3.
Yeah, I as surprised. Don't ask me why I've seen all of them. I just seen all of them. If I had to rate just all these two is number 1 for me, and then 1 is the second one. Is
Yeah.
second place. But I've seen all of them. But yes, number 2, best.
And just going off that, I want to talk about some like the smaller stuff in the movie, that the details that go into making this movie better. When Will's stealing the key, now I'm not going to give away too much about this, but when Will's stealing the key, he almost wakes up Davy Jones, but he ends up opening up Davy Jones' locket to play a song. I will say this right now, for some of you attentive ones.
Yeah.
This is the one spoiler I'm not going to give away.
Yeah.
But some of y'all attentive ones, if you pay attention, you have seen that locket one other time in the movie.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But going off of that, Liar's Dice.
Yeah.
Now, Liar's Dice, this is once again another scene where every character has something to lose.
Yes.
So this is after Will's been captured by Davy Jones.
Yes.
This is after he bumped into his dad. He's watching the crew bet their time on the ship, how many years to
That's
serve.
scary though.
Yeah, it is scary. It is scary. But they're betting how many years they'll serve on a game of dice. Now, in case you're wondering, what happens is this is how Liar's Dice works. You go in a circle like how you play cards, right? And every person has 5 dice. But you're not making bets on just your dice. You're making bets on everyone else's dice too. So let's say there's 3 of you here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have 15 dice to work with. You're making a bet on how many of one number is lying face up on the table. I know it's complicated, but follow me here.
Okay.
So basically, let's say so each dice is 6-sided, right?
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
And you shake it up, you put it down.
Yes.
Now if you have your cup face down, you have no idea what's under your cup right then and there. So the initial bet is, so let's say you and me are here, right? You put your cup down, and I go, okay, I bet that there are 7 4s.
Okay.
Your bet would then be, for example, let's say you want to go with play it safe.
Yeah.
3 3s.
Okay.
Because at that point you're only betting on your dice and possibly one other dice on mine. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. What matters is I call you a liar.
Gotcha.
So let's say I said 4 7 7 4s,
Yeah.
and you said 3 2s. You would look at me and go, "You're a liar." And if I pull both our dice and there aren't 7 4s down, I lose the game.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So that's the thing there, right? So if it's just between 2 of us, it just goes back and forth. But in this moment, Will is, he's playing a smart game, but he doesn't put his dad in on it.
Yes.
He wants to know where the key to Davy Jones's chest is.
That's it.
So he bets an entire lifetime of servitude aboard Davy Jones's ship, aboard Flying Dutchman, for the key. Even if he loses, Will knows where the key is. So as far as so in this moment, technically both sides have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
But as far as Will's dad's concerned, he will have something to lose. So his dad interjects. He doesn't just interject. He interjects in between Will and Davy Jones.
Yeah, because they're going head to head, and you can visually see them eyeing each other down.
Yeah.
Like, okay, all right, come on, try me.
Because once again, it rotates, counterclockwise.
Yeah.
So if he had interjected on this side of the table while Will's there, it would have gone Davy Jones, with Bootstrap, and Will.
Yes.
But because he interjected on the side he did, is Davy Jones, Will, and Bootstrap. You can only call a liar on the person who just went before you.
Yeah.
So at one point in the film, Will says 8-5, which is an astronomical bid, but it turns out he's right. There are 8 5s on the dice. It's 4 of it's 7 5s. There's 4 5s in Davy Jones's cup, and there's 3 5s in Will's own cup.
Yeah.
So after you make your initial bet, you can then look up
Yeah.
and see what's underneath there, like how you like you kind of guessing the cards.
Yeah.
And and then you know Jones once again, because Jones has nothing to lose. 'Cause even if Jones loses the bet, Will cannot get off that ship unless he makes port. So as far as so once again, neither one of them has anything to lose. Is Bootstrap has everything on the line right now,
yes,
and when Bootstrap interjects, then Will has something to lose.
Yes.
So once again, you know. So once again, Will says 7-5. I think Jones's initial bet was it's a safe for it.
Yeah.
I think it's like 4 twos.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember the other.
And then
Bootstrap.
Bootstrap, I think he said was I think he said it was 7-3.
Yeah, now that I think I do remember very.
Yeah, that was his initial bet.
Yeah.
So once again, dice down, and you cannot roll these dice again. Once you place them down, they're down. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
So then Will up and then you know comes back around at the Bootstrap. It comes back to I'm sorry, I'm off camera here. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
It comes back around
Yeah.
to Davy Jones's turn.
Yeah.
Now Davy Jones, I think he said he ups the bet to once again another likely bet, which is I think it was 8 twos, which turns out was on the dice.
Yeah.
It was on the table, so he was not lying. Will, based on his calculation, he says 9 fives, and that is not on the table. So the moment it gets around to Davy Jones's turn, if Bootstrap hadn't done what he had done in that moment,
yeah.
Davy Jones would have called Will a liar, and Will would have lost. Bootstrap says the impossible. He says 11 threes. That's just not possible.
Yeah, and then I'm not even kidding. Davy Jones was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, and I don't think Jones realized at that moment what Bootstrap. Well, no, Jones realized immediately what Bootstrap was doing. He realized immediately what Bootstrap was doing. He understood that Bootstrap was trying to stop his son from serving an eternity on the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah.
Even if it is, at the end of the day, useless because Davy Jones is not making ports.
No, exactly.
Will be on that shit, as far as he's concerned.
Exactly. And when Bootstrap made that assumption, Davy Jones went over there and got his cup. He said, "Bootstrap, you are a liar,
and you will spend the rest of your eternity on this ship." Will, feel free to go ashore. The very next time we make port, and then he walks off. But that's what I'm getting at, though. Is like there's like once again, the game ends when one person's called a liar.
Yeah.
So when Bootstrap made that bet, he knew he was lying. He knew that he didn't have to have the numbers. But he looked Jones dead in the eye and said, "Call me a liar.
Right.
I freaking dare you." And Jones, once again, as far as Jones is concerned, he's got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Bootstrap promises eternity of servitude. Yeah. He's not letting Will off the ship.
Yeah.
What's he got to lose?
No.
So he calls Bootstrap a liar, thinks it's all said and done.
Yeah.
But then it turns out that, once again, Will had no intention of keeping whatever word he gave to Davy Jones.
Yeah, of course.
He just wanted to know where the hell that damn key was.
Yeah.
And he did. So now Bootstrap promised eternity of servitude to Davy Jones without having to do it. He never had to do it, but because he cared about his kid, he made the decision. And now the stakes changed for Will. He knows where the key is, but now it's no longer about getting Jack's compass. At this moment, Will wants the chest as bad as Jack, as bad as Beckett, as bad as Norrington, and as bad as Elizabeth as far as she's concerned.
Yeah.
So, that's what I'm getting at. It's like, and it is a small detail. And they have to actually cut out like a 5-minute scene explaining how Liar's Dice works.
Oh, no, yeah.
If you pay close attention to the, I think like 2 minutes that you get, where Will explains the rules to some degree, but it's not well done. But if you pay attention, you actually understand what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
They show you how the game works.
Yeah.
I would love to play Liar's Dice.
No, I would too.
Actually, I'm gonna look this up real quick. Do you mind keep going?
No, yeah. And then like it's just like I mean like and even after this and even after this journey, it's just like even after and then Jack is just still helping or trying.
There you go. You can actually get a game of Liar's Dice.
Guys, send that to me because I'm actually gonna get that for us too, play that game live. But yeah,
we need at least another person or something.
Yeah,
but, yeah.
But yeah, like it's just like, but it's just like, and then like even after that, like Jack thinks he's won with that jar of dirt.
Oh God, that scene. Can you put a pin on that one for just one second?
Yeah.
I want to get into one more thing.
Yeah.
The camera work and the fight choreography inside this movie.
Oh yes, they did an amazing job with that.
Filming on location, them fighting in that old abandoned church tower, fighting on top of that water mill, and having the cameras. I remember the behind the scenes of this where they would show. Now you reminded me that he had that water mill attached to a car.
Because let's see, and then what it did was it was the scene where they were in. It was a scene where Will Turner, the other guy, and then Jack Sparrow was in the wheel together. They had that part attached to a truck, and it was just slowly driving through the actual forest and everything. And they were just had cameras attached to it, and they were physically in there, attached with wires, but they were just going spinning there. And they got out and they said, "Oh my God, I can't do that again."
That was not green screen. They actually did that stunt.
Yeah,
and I believe it was actually the actors and not the stunt double.
No, it was. It was because when y'all see the scene where as William Turner, Jack Sparrow, and then the other guy in the actually sword fighting as the wheels spinning, that's actually them.
Yeah,
that's actually them. But it's actually slowed down and in reality, but they sped it up in post. But it was actually them literally going around in circles just like this.
Yeah.
I was like, that is genius.
I honestly, I'd do that in a heartbeat.
No, I would, but I'll be dizzy.
I'd be dizzy too, but I do know some tricks to stop dizziness, but I already know that in the moment I probably forget something.
Yeah, because and then and I think they had certain handlebars in it to hold them up so it won't fall and everything.
Yeah. But anyway, going back to the jar of dirt, if you be so kind.
Oh yeah, man, the jar of dirt. When she explained to me, I didn't even know that was improvised by Johnny Depp. I didn't know that. And if y'all have seen it, where he falls, that was actually all Johnny Depp, and him coming back up after the fall saying, "I got a jar of dirt, I got a jar of dirt," and everybody looking at him and like, "Have you lost your damn mind?" That was all improvised. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, everything from the moment Jack takes this is my understanding of that scene. Everything from the moment he takes the jar of dirt and is trying to taunt Davy Jones with it, to the moment when Davy Jones calls for his crew to pull up the cannons.
Yes.
That entire thing was scripted.
Good Lord.
When everybody's looking at Johnny, he's going, "I got a jar of dirt, I got a jar," and you see the completely lost expressions on these people's faces.
Y'all, they are literally confused.
I believe I want to say if it wasn't Orlando Bloom, it was Keira Knightley. One of those two said, "Yeah, we thought he had just gone fucking crazy."
Yeah. Cause man, I'm telling you, the way they looked at him, any other person would look at him crazy, has he lost his damn mind?
And they kept the shot too.
Yeah, they kept the shot. It's all in there.
Yeah, that whole scene, that whole memorable moment.
Yes.
I don't think it was a first take.
No,
that was the take they chose.
And again, I might be incorrect, but I think not only those two, but I think the whole entire crew.
Oh no, the whole entire crew.
They were all looking at him huh?
Yeah, the entire crew legitimately thought he had lost his mind that day.
Yeah, because I was like, that is genius.
And I really want to have this point home. This is not the crew thinking that Johnny Depp is being Johnny Depp, because there are plenty behind the scenes stuff of the first three movies. I don't know about the last two, but the first two movies of Johnny being a complete goofball.
No, yes.
Like for instance, when Will tells him about how he needs to come to save Elizabeth's life, in a behind the scenes shot, Johnny Depp goes. So the line is Will, I will give you the compass in exchange for this. That's how the line goes. He shows Will the parchment of the key, and Will goes for this. The behind the scenes is, Will, I will give you the compass if you do strange things to my dog. His name is Tim.
Yeah, that part.
And you see Orlando just lose it.
Yes. And then again, that's normal for Johnny Depp.
Yeah. This. They legit thought he lost his damn mind.
Yes. Because look, think about it though. You have the main actor literally with a jar of dirt get up and say, "I got a jar of dirt,"
And the thing is, like, it's not even just that. It's like he's the main actor. The Jar Dirt is hot. The sun's beating down on him. They've been filming like all freaking day. They thought he snapped.
I would thought the exact same thing too.
It wasn't until after he started saying the lines where they realized, oh no, he's just doing a bit.
That's how good and talented Johnny Depp is.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
I'll tell you right now, if I was renting a movie with Johnny Depp on it, I know for a fact I'd be laughing my ass off, but I'd be like, Johnny, please,
Yes.
we got only so much daylight left.
we got an hour left. Let's get this shot. Let's keep it moving, Johnny. Come on, man. Come on.
God, he honestly, he seems like a blast to work with.
Oh yeah, no, he is.
He seems like a blast to work with.
Yeah, because everybody has said like even on the first two like he's a kind-hearted guy, amazing.
Yeah, like there's a famous story of him, spending like I think like $5 million for designer coats for the entire cast and crew. I think 1 week it was cold.
Yeah.
It was raining.
Yes.
And he just went off and bought them coats just so they'd be comfortable on the first movie.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God.
So yeah, it's a whole thing, but it's once again it just goes to show that this era of filmmaking, I feel, has been the strongest it's been in years.
Oh yes, of course.
It's only gotten weaker. After
Oh
this.
Lord, it
It's only
has.
gotten weaker after this.
Oh my God.
And I would make the argument that the next movie we're going to watch, At World's End, is the first sign of not Disney but of Hollywood losing that creative spark.
Yeah, I will agree with that because I'm not gonna lie. Before I say it, before I did disagree with him on that one, and then I remember back when I watched it. I mean, again, it's still entertaining. Don't get me wrong, it is still entertaining. But no, they lost a little bit of juice from that third one.
To this day, I've only seen At World's End, the sequel movie, once.
Yes, and
This upcoming time we watch it will be my second time watching it.
yeah, this will be my 6th time watching it.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But Dead Man's Chest, Curse of Black Pearl, I've seen these movies countless times.
Oh my God, yes.
Countless times. They
Yes.
are still classics. And once again, back in the day, I would have said, yeah, no, this is Disney at its best. Nowadays, I said these movies are too good to be in Disney's fault.
It is. It really is.
Because once again, the humor is on point. Is that I call it classical. This style of storytelling is only like it can't be no more than 10 years old.
Yeah.
It's a classical style of storytelling that knows when to have its cake and when to let it sit.
Yeah, but
My bad. Knows when to have its cake and knows when to eat it too.
Yeah.
And you see this progression of the movie just go where it's like you have your serious moments, you have a couple of jokes here and there. We have Commodore Norrington starting a bar fight in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
And then it's like you would think that I honestly have a problem with this one because it's too humorous and it breaks tension. It was like no, this is a humorous moment that fits in context with the world in which it takes place.
Yeah,
We're in Tortuga in a bar surrounded by pirates. Everybody's drunk, and we already know that people getting shot, beat, stabbed is just a thing that happens.
That is literally a normal day in Tortuga.
So we combine that atmosphere
With the
with Norrington, who's lost everything, finally sees Jack, and he's just like, fuck it.
Yeah. And it works. It works.
And then Jack's just being a freaking goofball in the background.
Oh Lord, man, the way that everybody is fighting in that bar, but you see Jack and Mr. Gibbs just randomly, Jack, you had, he's like, as you were. I'm like, what? Where did this come from?
And it's not out of character because that's who Jack is.
That really is. That's truly who Jack is.
Yeah, it's like,
my God.
it's like that's how you do humor, and that's how you.
That's really honestly it is.
And I think personally, that's why this Pirates movie, the darker moments, land more effectively.
They do.
Than I would argue At World's End.
No, it does because
unless my memory's wrong.
No, you're right because I remember most of the scenes. The jokes landed actually good in most parts, but as far as the dark moments, they didn't land well, stick well.
Yeah. And the reason why I say that is because when you have your darker moments, like we just had a whole thing, like once again, like going back to it, we just had a whole thing where Davy Jones basically forces Will's father to watch as his son is presumably eaten and eviscerated by the Kraken, and just traumatizes this man. After Bruce Trask says, "What more can they do to me?" He's like, "You want to find out?" And then we have this whole thing where it's like, like Elizabeth walking back and forth trying to find the chest. It is a slightly humorous moment, but it doesn't have to go over the top to make you laugh. Yeah. You just kind of get what's going on, you know. And then Jack's like, no, it doesn't. They're sitting on it. Move. Gordon, come, dig. It's like, no, I'm exaggerating for Brit Driver Fed, but it's a lot more subdued in the movie.
No, it is.
But once again, it's like the moments when they come, they're not out of place, and they come right when you need a breather.
Yes.
Right before, the big event happens.
Exactly.
Whereas with At World's End, the one thing I remember about At World's End, well, two things, but we'll get, I'll save it for next one. I want to save it for next one, but I just miss this balance of storytelling.
Oh, I do too. Because now it's just like you said, movies are just like focusing more of like kids.
Let me make a correction.
Yeah.
I'm tired of blockbusters doing this. Indie films and small budget studios, they seem to be maintaining this balance. They're not going over the top.
I would say some of them, not all.
Not all of them?
Yeah, but not yet. But as far as like you said, blockbuster, yes. Because I'm really tired of like the world ending and people coming to save it, or and this is why I really don't like most of everything. You're using kids as the chosen ones. That I'm tired of. Stop. You gotta stop with that.
What I will say about that is one thing to have a child perspective character. Like once again with Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars series. Which, fun fact, we didn't get that perspective character till 45 minutes into the first movie. Anyway, So they asked some restraint on that. But anyway, what I'm getting at is that one thing that I will say is that it's one thing to have a kid character.
Yes.
It's another thing when you have a kid character in a movie that's aimed at kids that talks down to children.
Yeah.
Because kids are not dumb.
They're smart.
They're not. They're surprisingly smart. They're only as smart as how you treat them.
Yeah.
And I always go back to this example. Thomas Tank Engine. I know it's a weird thing to bring up, but bear with me, people. Thomas Tank Engine, when it first came out, and this is an IP that's over 75 years old. That's right, Thomas Tank Engine is over 75 years old, and Thomas himself wasn't even the main character of the book he first started. It was actually Gordon.
I remember you told me that,
Yeah. So when they came to adapt this children's show for kids in Britain, they went to go get Ringo Starr of the Beatles fame. I have no idea who the hell the Beatles are. To be honest with you on that one. All I know is about Paul McCartney and that thing where Michael Jackson bought the Beatles right out underneath from the day they were recording a video.
Oh,
that was some gangster shit. But it was Ringo Starr who they wanted to get for the UK release. Right. In America, George Carlin. In case you guys don't know who that is, George Carlin is to white people what Bernie Mac is to black people. Just to give you an idea who this guy is.
Gotcha. Okay.
This guy was blunt, raunchy, but he was blunt, crass, and gave zero fucks. He wanted to do something to show that he was not just this loudmouth cursing individual.
Okay.
So when Thomas Tank Engine got brought over to the States, he signed on to it, and Ringo Starr actually said no to being the narrator for Thomas Tank Engine about 5 or 6 times.
Wow.
Because this was his this is the reason why he said it. I haven't read the books. I don't know anything about this series. Why would I want to narrate it? So the woman who ended up bringing it over said, look, just read a couple books. If you still don't want to do after that, last time. So he sat down and read a few books, and he said, I like this. And George Carlin did the same thing. They both ended up, if you look at interviews, they both said the same thing about the show that the creator said. And I'll get to what he specifically said in a second, but Ringo Starr and George Carlin said, this book does not talk down to kids. It treats them like young adults, It treats it like they can understand and comprehend the concepts they're trying to tell, and they don't spell the messages out. And it's interesting they say that because the guy who made the series, Reverend Ardrey, who was I think a World War II veteran and a massive, massive steam engine enthusiast, he said, I have to write this book because it's not only just for kids, but it's not written for the adults who are reading it and the grandparents who are reading it.
Wow.
He kept in mind the situation, the context in which this book series was being made, and when the show got ported, Ringo Starr and George Carlin did the exact same thing when they narrated the series. That's what's missing from today's entertainment.
Yes.
Not just from kids' entertainment, but even from some of the adult entertainment. Because you either have it leading too far in one direction where kids are treated like idiots, or too far in the other direction where adults are treated like a bunch of mindless morons who just want to see blood and tits.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you're right about that.
So that's why. That's why it's like I say this era of storytelling is basically missing or dead and gone. I hope it's not dead and gone. I hope it comes back. But
Yeah, I
still.
hope it does too. I really hope it does.
So that's my 2 cents.
But that was a good 2 cents though. Honestly, that was a good 2 cents though. But I agree with you on that. It's changed, man. Like, and honestly, I wish it would go back to that. I appreciate these movies more than most movies I've seen in my time.
Yeah. And it's just like I feel like a lot of issues, right, is that a lot of movies are made with the idea of cashing in on a gimmick or cashing in on a popular actor.
That is so obvious, and that, oh my God, irritates me. But yes, and I agree with you on that. Yeah.
And we talk about this in our Cinema Synergy podcast
Yeah.
on Chasing Trends, on how doing so diminishes the trend and it cheapens the entertainment we consume.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. You got anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, honestly, we basically like covered everything. You basically mentioned everything that I was going to put out in the same. But just overall, I mean, again, I could watch the movie over and over again and never get sick and tired of it. So I mean, like, this is still a classic movie. It is, like you said, way too good for Disney. Shouldn't even be part of
Modern day Disney. I should
Yeah,
specify.
yeah, thank you. Modern day Disney, yeah, and it's excellent though. So again, please watch this movie if you have not seen it. It's very good.
Because I'm saying right now, if you want our entertainment to improve, it helps to watch or invest your money and time
Yeah.
into what it is you want to see.
Yeah, cause like again, like there's movies I probably will see. He probably may not be interested in at first, but if I give my 2 cents about it, he probably may give a chance. Again, you don't know.
Once again, my philosophy is there's no such thing as a bad idea, only poor execution.
I will say, I agree with that, but I will say, most times I will say I know the movie's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be bad, hands down. And I knew Eternal was gonna be bad. Trash, nah.
Yeah, that one I'll admit I did have a little bit of reservation when I first saw the trailers for Eternals, and I'm like, something about this seems off.
You can't pay.
I still to this day have not seen Eternals.
You can't pay me enough to watch that.
Yeah.
I would have to be drunk to watch that.
Well, it's a good thing we'll be drinking that day.
There you go. But just overall, guys, please go watch Pirates of the Caribbean. Damn that shit. I'm telling you, 2 hours. That is worth 2 hours of your time. I'm not
Well
even
worth it. It's well spent.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, that's been today for Silver Screening.
Yes.
Join us next week for At World's End.
Yes.
And we'll catch you then.
Yeah.
Deuces.